Okay, we got the first slide up. So this is the Birmingham Careers Hub Employability broadcast, and we've got Mike Pipe here, who's going to give us a little quick introduction. Over to you, Mike.
Hi guys, yeah, just a quick intro for me really. My name is Mike Pipe. I'm the Senior Enterprise Coordinator from the Careers and Enterprise Company. So we work for the Birmingham Careers Hub, and the aim is to supply schools with some really valuable links to resources, opportunities, and employability links. So we're working with schools and colleges across the city to try and make sure there's opportunities for all of you really. And the reason for running these webinars is to give students and parents the information and support of what your next steps are going to be. In an uncertain kind of climate at the moment, this kind of information is really, really important. So who you can talk to, what your pathways are going to be, and also kind of skills you can build in this time to make sure you can take those next steps. So you've got a number of people on the call with you today, and this gives you an opportunity to ask any questions. So as the guys have said, use your Q&A box, ask those questions while you've got the experts on here. But it's a great opportunity to get those questions posed and hopefully answered. As I said, this is the first of 3 webinars we're going to be doing in partnership with Pathways. So this one's first about support and who you can talk to, but then we're also looking at kind of like what your pathway is actually going to be. So alternatives, as you see on that first poll, you've got all sorts of different options. So we're going to be trying to explore some of those as we go through our webinars, and then also look at those skills that you'll need to build to make those steps. It's a really great opportunity. We've also run a national campaign which you can access, and we'll make sure the links are up on the YouTube channel once this has been recorded. But there's some really good opportunities, and I'd use this opportunity as a chance to see what's out there for you and ask questions. But as from me, that's all you'll need to hear from me. I'll pass you over to the Pathways group, and we'll get this all started.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Mike. And welcome, everyone. My name is Chris McNamara, founder and CEO of Pathway CTM. I'm delighted to be on this session, one of 3 sessions of as Mike's just mentioned today. So you'll be able to hear from us at Pathway CTM. You'll be able to hear from Kooth, who are an online digital wellbeing platform for young people in Birmingham. We've got the Birmingham Careers Service on board as well, and the National Careers Service, all in one-stop shop for young people around Birmingham today. So well done, first and foremost, if you are joining live. If you're watching this as a recording, again, brilliant for clicking on it and looking to really make the most out of your opportunities as a young person and in the exciting future that you have ahead of you. If you are live, then you can use the chat function to chat to us. But if you've got a specific question, like Liam's already done, pop it in the Q&A box and we'll be sure to answer your questions. So I'm Chris, like I said, the founder and CEO of Pathway. So I set up the business 6 years ago. We'll talk about what the business does in the first session. But before I continue talking about Pathway, just to hand over to my team and over to Max.
Hi everyone, so my name is Max. On the slide my real name is up there, Massimiliano, but it's a lot easier to call me Max. So I work with Pathway as an outreach manager. And what does an outreach manager do? So my job is to go into schools virtually at the moment to work through our outreach program, and it's helping years 11s to 13s really understand what the next steps options are, how to build skills for the next step as well. Lots of different things that we do in terms of CV building, how to write cover letters, how to understand strengths. We'll talk more about that in a while, but that's basically what I do for Pathway. I go into schools and inspire young people into their next steps.
And hi everyone, I'm Catherine, and I'm on the education team here at Pathway CTM. So I'm liaising with schools, with students, so looking forward to supporting you guys this academic year, and I hope you enjoy the session today.
Fantastic. And before we get cracking, Max, we put up a poll. Would you mind sharing that poll, please, and just the answers from that?
Certainly can. So the poll, let me share the results. So the question was, which route are you likely to take after school or college? And out of the 9 people that answered, 3 have said university and 4 have said not sure.
So 57% not sure and 43% university. There are, of course, other options on there, such as apprenticeship, degree level apprenticeship, sponsored degrees, gap year schemes. So we're going to be uncovering what Pathway does in the next few minutes in terms of looking at those different options. In a nutshell, we work with schools and colleges around the UK, but I set up this company to support every young person around the UK. My background is I didn't do that well at school necessarily. I didn't really know where I was going, so I sort of went to university, did a bit of a gap year in between as well, finding my way. But at Pathway CTM, we're there to support students. So we'll be able to tell you exactly how you can get the follow-up support from us and what that looks like. And I guess from my point of view, how we can make you and help you introduce to different companies and find out the amazing careers that are out there and that are accessible to you. So I just want to play a video to start off with to give you a bit of an introduction into Pathway CTM.
Perfect. Are we ready for the video?
Yeah, we absolutely are. Hi guys, my name is Chris McNamara, founder and CEO of Pathway CTM. It is COVID-19 and I am in my bedroom. It's unprecedented times, but hopefully you're back in school or college or in some sort of education from September. Today, I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the programme and what you can expect. Well, I set up Pathway CTM to help school and college leavers. So year 11, 12 and 13 is where we're focused. Whether it's an apprenticeship, university or like myself, a gap year, which you'll be able to find out about on our online portal. We've got different sessions for you to look at, different videos for you to watch. But it's all about meeting employers early before you make those decisions. Whether that's virtually, whether that's physically, it's always going to help towards where you end up in the future. What are the benefits to you as a young person? Ultimately, this program's designed for you. So meeting employers, networking, but also if you want to apply for any of the specific opportunities we have, whether that be work experiences, apprenticeships, getting onto different insight events, we can help you do that. Let's hear from some of our alumni.
I didn't really know what options were available. I was never really persuaded by university after A-levels because of the cost that it came with.
I go to university once a week and the other days I'm at work, which means I actually live a bit of the university life whilst actually being paid to get my degree.
I didn't know anything about apprenticeships, so to gain these qualifications and to kind of further my education was great.
Mainly going to insight evenings and actually understanding what the company does as a whole, what are the different roles within the company, and also I got involved with looking at some of the tests that Pathways actually have on their website.
Would you recommend Pathway CTM to your peers and why?
Definitely. They don't only give you exposure to events, like I mentioned before, but it's also about networking and being able to find more about the industry.
This event made me want to apply to PwC. If I didn't have this event, I probably would not have applied.
So now we've heard from our alumni about why you should join the programme. How do you join the programme for this year? Well, it's really simple. It's pathwayctm.com is the website. Look out for where you can register. Students register here, and then it's just a really short survey, so we've got a bit of information about you. Why we ask this information? Because we want to know what you're suited to. If you don't tick the creative box, for example, you won't find out about Sony Music's internship program. If you don't tick you're interested in technology and finance, you might not find out about PwC's sponsored degree programs. So that's why we ask the information from you, and then that's when we give you tailored information to see where you want to go next. So do the survey, get involved in the program, and see you in the year. Fantastic. And next slide, please, Max. I suppose the main thing I want to talk to you about today is the different employers that we work with and how we can get you involved in them. It's something around 91% of employers see attitude as the most important thing. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. You know, we're always told at school and college, you've got to, you know, do your best, obviously, in your exams, etc. But we sometimes forget, actually, my attitude is really important too. And that can get you through the door a lot of the time. It definitely has for my career. And you can see there the stat, 24% of the students that we work with are sometimes from less advantaged backgrounds, which means that, you know, anyone can be successful no matter where you're from, particularly through programs such as Pathway and the support we're going to be hearing about today. Max, could you give us one of your stats, please, for today to kick us off?
Certainly can. So companies with gender, ethnic and racial diversity are at least 15% more likely to experience above average financial returns.
So there we go. It's important then to say that employers do see diversity as important, and it's important that they get a range of people working for them. So that's something that we explore in our company, but let's have a look at the companies that we work with. So these are companies that we've worked with over time, over the years. Max, thank you. As you can see, loads of different companies there. You might recognize quite a few brands from finance, from healthcare, from transport, from logistics, loads of different companies there, all providing great opportunities for young people. That might be graduate routes, apprenticeship routes, work experience routes. But what we do at Pathway is all about those interactions with these companies. So how can you go and meet a company? It might be quite difficult now because it's COVID, and we've had a couple of questions already come in speaking about that from Liam and from Victoria, saying, what is going to happen if the pandemic continues, and how's that going to impact if I have to self-isolate? Well, Liam and Victoria are actually at home today because they have had to self-isolate because of the pandemic, but they're still accessing education and they're still accessing employers, so to speak. And at Pathway, all the different brands you can see on there, plus more brands that we work with behind the scenes, it's about putting on webinars to make sure you understand about the brands out there, what you're studying, how that relates to industry and how it all links up. And then if you're interested in companies, we then support you if you want to apply. It might be you want to apply for work experience, an apprenticeship. It might be that you really want to go to university, like some people on this webinar live today, but maybe you want to actually find out how you can get there in 3 to 5 years' time. Because if you meet them now, the likelihood is that they have an internship program if you do go to university. So it's all about getting your foot in the door nice and early. Max, for example, used to work at Pret a Manger there, one of the big hospitality firms. So we've got some really good experience at Pathway CTM behind us to support you. Max, next slide, please. In fact, guys, do put in the chat box if any of those brands do come out and stand out to you as brands that you might want to be involved with or find out more. But I just wanted to relay the point around diversity because companies really, really do care about having different students from different backgrounds. And that's actually why many companies introduced apprenticeship schemes, because not everybody wants to go to university. And if you didn't go to uni, sometimes you couldn't get the top jobs. But now with apprenticeships, it actually means you don't have to go to university, and you can even get paid to do a degree on the job via a degree level apprenticeship, for example. So I guess my company is experts in that sort of route, because I think it's sometimes easy to understand how to go to uni, do your UCAS applications. That's quite simple sometimes to understand through your school teachers and college teachers. But sometimes the other area is really grey and quite difficult to understand. So we're your friend, we're your brother or sister, so to speak, to help you if you did want to maybe go down a slightly different route to those around you who might be going down the university route. Max, another diversity stat, please, if you will.
So companies with the most ethnically and culturally diverse boards worldwide are 43% more likely to experience higher profits.
So there we go again, profits and diversity, it all links in. But I wanted to make sure that you knew about that, because a lot of young people think that it's not true, but it is. Companies really care about it because being diverse means that you will be more profitable. Liam's put in the chat box that PwC, IBM and Microsoft interest him. So that's great, Liam. Already starting to think maybe a bit of a techie, looking down that professional services route. So lots of different companies and lots of apprenticeships in that area. But we really want to specialize this for Birmingham. And last year, we did a really cool physical skills event. We hosted it at the Arthur Terry School, where students all from around Birmingham could come and learn some skills and meet some employers. I want to show you that event next in a video in a second, but just know that what we're doing this year, because of COVID-19, and I'm in my bedroom again, we're actually doing that online. So you'll be able to access different employers online from your mobile phone, from your laptop, from school, if you are in school, that is. So don't feel dismayed at COVID-19. Employers are working to make sure that they're still going to be presenting to you. You can understand their opportunities and their options, and they really want to teach you some key skills. So let's have a little look at that Birmingham Skills Day, please, Max.
All right, let's go for it.
Today we're here in Birmingham for our third year at the Arthur Terry School, with students from around Birmingham travelling in to learn key skills to help them become more employable. We're running 4 different employability sessions. It's not a careers fair. Students are learning really key things that they need for the world of work.
I came to this school as a student, and last year I was really unsure whether I wanted to go to university or do the apprenticeship route. This event made me want to apply to PwC. If I didn't have this event, I probably would not have applied.
We don't get many assemblies on this in school, so I think it's important for students to reach out and learn as much as they can.
I think, what Pathways are doing is absolutely fantastic. It definitely helps us out to, spread the word and get our opportunities to as many schools and colleges as possible. So, really great relationship we've got with Pathways.
These sessions are supported by teachers, experts in the field such as CAP, ex-professionals, so students are getting a breadth of knowledge and meeting employers at the same time.
It's really important that students engage with employers and develop networking skills, communication skills as early as possible, and that's what our partnership with Pathway is all about.
So I'm always looking for the people that might be of interest to us as a company. So however you come, you should be prepared to give your best self on those days.
Pathway is definitely a great platform to help people get the apprenticeships of their dreams, because without it I wouldn't be in the job I'm in now.
I've been so impressed with students again who have turned up in their half term to learn key skills and meet employers. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to progress through the programme.
So there you have it. That was physical last year, but that's moving online from this year. We're in September and we've got lots of events planned just around the corner, actually. So stay tuned for that and find out how you can sign up to the Pathway programme after our little talk here. But this is me just explaining what we've done since COVID-19. So do you know what? It was 6 months ago to the day. The date is now the 24th of September. So it was yesterday that it was 6 months to the day that we went into isolation in schools and colleges. And on day one of that isolation day, we dedicated every single day to 1 hour of online content being a webinar. And every single one of those webinars was with an employer. And that's why I'm giving you confidence, because we're doing that again from September, and we're just going to continue that throughout the whole academic year until we're good to go back to normal and you can go and visit companies again. So we did 76 hours of webinar content. I think it was in the first 60 days and thousands of students getting involved in that. And it also includes something that's a bit different now, which is a virtual work experience day. So imagine, for example, going onto a webinar for an hour. Quite often, by the way, our sessions are after school. The reason we try and do that is to really spot those who have got a great attitude, who maybe really want to commit to doing a 5 till 6 or a 6 till 7 webinar, just to challenge you, because that's what I think it's all about. But these virtual work experience days, they actually last a whole day. So often it's October, February, Easter, Christmas holidays, but sometimes they can occur after school as well. But that you can actually put down on your CV as being selected for a work experience opportunity. Now, it may only be 1 day, but we actually do a selection process for that. It's a really friendly and inclusive selection process, but it means you can put it down on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile to say, yep, I got accepted onto this scheme. And companies love young people who end up on these virtual work experience days, and we're planning to do a lot more of them this year. And by the way, I think the fact that we're more online from September, from now, I think that's a positive thing for your opportunities, because it means that you can access more companies who are now all going online. So maybe if you didn't live in London, you might miss out on a couple of things now and again, because so much stuff is down there, but actually you're not going to miss out on anything now because it's all online. So I do think it's actually a reason to be really positive. Next slide, please, Max. And I'm going to hand over to Catherine, our schools account manager, just to talk about one of our current students who's doing pretty well at Google, I think starting this month.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so you might have seen there was a snippet of Giselle in one of the videos played earlier. So Giselle is a prime example of how you guys can utilise the Pathway CTM programme. So like many students, Giselle was in her last year of sixth form, thinking about her next steps and what she wanted to do after school. So she wanted to keep all the opportunities open for her. So she came to our events and she did her research into the companies and had a look at what options there were available to school leavers. But she knew she wanted to apply for apprenticeships, and so she applied for many. And she had a few knockbacks, but she kept going, and her hard work definitely paid off. And she's now, as Chris mentioned, is working as an apprentice at Google, which is pretty cool to do, from just leaving school. Pretty cool company to work for. So I guess, be like Giselle, let us know when you're applying for things, or even if you don't even know where to start. That's what Pathway CTM is all about. We want to help you along that application process. So Giselle got in touch with us when she had her interview, when she had her assessment centre, so we could really prep her so that she delivered her best self and she felt confident going into that interview to be successful. So get in touch with us. We want to help you guys along the way, and we're looking forward to helping you this academic year.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. And actually, Giselle, it's really interesting. She's going to Google, but then she's still got her options open in terms of where she's going to go next. And actually, it might be that she ends up going to university after her apprenticeship. And that's interesting. You can go to uni and then join an apprenticeship scheme. I think about 25% of all apprenticeship schemes actually from school leaver sort of graduate age, that's how they actually are finalised, by 25% of grads sometimes finding themselves onto apprenticeship roles. So that does happen. Or indeed, you can, you know, of course, go and do an apprenticeship and then go to university afterwards as well. So your options really are open. Mahmood Ali, on the other hand, really focused on the apprenticeship route. And so Mahmood came to us in year 12. So our programs, year 11s, 12s, 13s, and anyone above and beyond, if you're a little bit older, a little bit younger, we can still engage with you through this opportunity today. But Mahmood came to us in year 12, I remember, and he just really was focused on getting an apprenticeship. And so we went through the strategy with him. He came out to lots of different events because we could go to companies back then, and he met the different companies that we introduced him to. And then he ended up applying to their work experience programs in the summer. He got accepted onto the EY work experience program, which, by the way, if you're a year 12, it's a great route in to getting into that company, whether as a graduate or as an apprentice, because they always look at you as, you know, coming in early and doing really well as work experience, then hopefully progressing into their company. And then at the end of year 12, at the end of his work experience scheme, he then assessed and he sort of shortlisted which companies he really wanted to apply for. I think he applied for about 5 different apprenticeship schemes. He also applied for university, and he had that in his back pocket as a backup in case he didn't get what he wanted with the apprenticeship. So tick the box. Good idea, I think, in terms of his strategy. And I think he ended up getting 3 different offers. Definitely KPMG. I think he got offered UBS, and he ended up getting offered EY, which is where he's at now. He's on our board, so he gives back and helps us improve our program. So that's great for his CV when he goes on to his next job and next promotion. He's also been shortlisted for the BAME Apprentice of the Year 2020. Hopefully, by the time some of you might be watching this, maybe he's won it. So I think it's just a great story to show attitude, really. You know, trying to find out what's going on as early as you can, going out and meeting the companies online, obviously at the moment, maybe physically, and then really figuring out which ones you want to do. I was also speaking to an alumni recently who's actually figured out maybe it's not for her. Maybe the apprentice that she's joined isn't actually right for her. Maybe she followed that in her father's footsteps and didn't really think about what was right for her. But that's absolutely fine. She's going to finish off her year, complete the apprenticeship, which for her only takes 18 months, and then she's looking at going to university. So there's lots of different ways and routes in, and never feel like it's got to be done, and it's got to be done at the age of 16 or 18. But Mahmood's a great example there of students who have done well through the Pathway program, and hopefully you can follow in his footsteps. And if you do join up to our program, you'll be able to meet Mahmood and speak to him as well, because he joins lots of our sessions and gives back a lot of his time. So that's a little bit more about our program top line, but let's get into some of the detail now with Max.
Okay, so what do we offer students? As you've seen there, we've already spoken about those employer connections that we give students, which has then led them to go and work for these companies. That's probably one of the most important things we do. We bring those students and those employers together. I've got a stat for you as well around employer engagements and connections, and it's when students have contact with 4 or more employers whilst at school, only 4.3% go on to become NEET, and that's down from 26.1% if they didn't have those interactions. So what does that mean? It means that the more interactions you have with employers, the more likely you are to end up in work with a job or still in higher education. And that's a great stat. So that's what we want to help students do, because it's very difficult as a student to find the right employers to engage with. Well, that's what we do through our employer events, through days like this, through webinars. We bring different people together and we bring those resources so that you can see and speak to those employers. And over this COVID period, we can't take you there physically, but we will be able to do it virtually as well, which we're looking to do. We have an online learning portal as well. That's really important because it links into the program that I run, which is the outreach program. And that online learning portal consists of 3 modules. So when you've got these 3 modules, which is about your knowledge, your personal brand, and your interview and assessment toolkit, those are broken down into really simple steps with videos, with templates, with guides on how to understand your strengths and what your next options could be. That's what we're here for. The whole next step of what do you do next is very confusing, and there's lots of information. We help simplify that information, but we do it in a way that is broken down into easy steps for you to go through at your own pace. The personal brand, it's about your CV, it's about your cover letter. How do you write them? How do you tailor those to the companies that you're applying for, or to the universities you're applying for, or the apprenticeships you want to do? What we offer as well, individual follow-ups. Once you sign up on our website onto the pre-employment program, you just go onto pathway.com. It says sign up as a student. You sign up and you have access to all of this material. You then also have an email address as well there called student@pathwayctm.com. Get in touch with us. We can help you. What are those next steps? Do you need some coaching support? We can help you with that. That's what I do. Also, the resources and materials that we're going to put out, like webinars like this, we record it and then we put it available on our website so people don't miss out on the opportunity just because they might have been in class at the time that it was run. So that's what we do. We put that material out there for you to get a hold of. That's my job, and that's what Pathway wants to do for every student in the UK.
Absolutely. And I would say, if I was you watching this at the moment, put it down on your CV, put it down on your LinkedIn profile, because you potentially not being forced to be on this. You're doing it for your own accord, and that's what employers really love. They love great attitude. They love people who want to get out and learn and experience things. But often young people, sometimes we think as youngsters that maybe we shouldn't put that down because it's not that impressive, but it is impressive to employers. So put it down and record it. And this is just a couple of things from me around Gatsby benchmarks for those teachers watching this session, and making sure that as young people, you can get out there and you can have the engagements with employers, because like Max says, it will help you statistically get a job, and it will also help you statistically earn more money over your lifetime if you have engagements with employers nice and early. But I actually think in layman's terms, it'll help you understand what you're going to hate in life and what you're going to love, and pick the one that you're going to love, because that's the most important thing. It's just as important to count off things that you don't want to do as well as it is to count things that you do want to do.
Can I interrupt you a second there, Chris? So my background is I worked at Pret a Manger, and part of my job was apprentice recruitment. So I was recruiting apprentices onto our degree apprenticeship program. And what Chris just said was one of the most important things for us, because the hospitality industry is such a huge thing. And there's so many different things you can do, like every industry in the world. And it's very difficult at a young age to know whether you're adapted to it. So we ran those events so that young people, students, could come in and actually interact with us and feel the environment and see what the actual work was. And it was as much for people to see, yes, I'm excited and I want to apply, and also for people to see, actually, it's not what I expected it to be, and it's not what interests me at all. So I'm not going to waste my time applying for an apprenticeship with Pret. That's really important for us as well. And that's the other knowledge that I bring too. I have been to university. I have worked in a hospitality industry, so I have that side as well. And I understand I would like to understand what young people need to go forward.
Thanks, Max. That was perfect. Okay, good. So now we on to the next slide. Now we know a little bit more about the program, meeting employers. We understand why that's important. Now let's talk about your strengths. This is just one slide I want to do on this. So we work with Capfinity. What is it? I think it used to be 53%, but I think it's gone up. It's even higher than 53% of companies now use strengths when they're recruiting. So we might hear about competency-based recruitment. So tell me about a time when you've shown leadership, something like that. But actually strengths-based recruitment is more looking at your potential and where you can go in terms of your true potential to that company, and how you align to their values and how you align to their strengths, really, and what's important to them. So I really wanted to share something with you, because this is something that you can do on our program as well. And it's something that I did not so long ago. So there's my strengths profile there, Chris McNamara. You can see there that my best strength is drive, and my biggest weakness is detail. So you'll get to do one of those profiles as well through Pathway with our partnership with Capfinity. It's a really, really good partnership, because it means that you get to do something that normally costs you money. But what that means for me, I've got to look at that and think, okay, detail, I'm not very good at that. So as the boss, I suppose, from my company as CEO, I'll get other people to do the things around detail, which I struggle with. And so that's about delegating. And in terms of drive, well, I like speaking to young people, and this is why I set it up. I'm an ex-teacher, so maybe if I do things like this, where hopefully I'm doing a good job, that's where my drive can come through and my passion for it. So it really helps me be a better person in the workplace, but it'll actually help you as well be able to match what sort of jobs you are looking for and how they link back to what you're good as a person naturally, because we all have amazing strengths, but this little piece of technology sometimes tells us what we do have as strengths. Max, have you done a session like this before in terms of looking at your strengths?
I have. We use them at Pret as well. So again, we look at what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And it's important to know your weaknesses too, so that you can work on them. And yeah, as Chris said, avoid the areas that don't excite you and don't play to your strengths. My strengths are communicating with people. My strengths are nurturing people's talent and skills. So I kind of hope that I'm in the right job, because I think I am. And that comes through quite clearly with the energy that I have, like Chris, to present these webinars and shows. So yeah, my weaknesses are spreadsheets, basically, detail like that. And I worked in payroll for 2 years, and that was all of my weaknesses, and I'll never do it again. I know what's good for me now.
I wonder, do put in the chat box, those that are on live, what strengths you think that you might have, some of those words that might, energizing that Max has used there. And indeed, maybe if you've done one of these tests before, on our online pre-employment program part, where you can log on and do the 9 different modules that Max described, we actually have one of these, we have a few different tests that you can do to really show the different sides of what you are like as a person and your makeup. But I know that Catherine's top strength is time management, so I think we better move on to the next slide. And the next slide is looking at an example of some of the events that we have coming up. So again, this is in October half term. It's available to students in Birmingham, just like you saw on the video earlier in 2019. You can see different companies that are turning up to this. And the reason they're turning up online, remember, by the way, is a whole day, 10 till 3 p.m. Absolutely maximum, maybe get off a bit before 3, but they want to see students who want to give up a day of their half term. So HSBC, Fidelity, Dyson, Essentia, Transport for London, Telford Homes, who are in construction, Vodafone, all these big brands, and there's more to come as well. They just really care about attitude. And then they meet the different students who turn up to this day in October half term. They teach you skills, and they tell you whether they ask this question or that question at the assessment centre. They'll tell you whether they do it on the phone, virtually on camera, or whether they're going to still do their assessments face to face. They'll talk to you about CVs and cover letters, and if you even need them for some of these big companies who use different sort of systems for their recruitment. But most importantly, they'll try and help you realise what you're good at. Capfinity are there as well to look at your strengths. So you're invited to this. We haven't really pushed it out that much yet because it's still about a month away. So hopefully after this session, you can sign up, those particularly who are watching this live, and get first dibs and try and get onto that session. I'll be there, my whole team will be there, all online. So I think it just proves that although we're in a pandemic, it's COVID-19, it's pretty crazy and quite scary for some. Actually, things are kind of normal anyway, and companies are still doing what they would normally do, but they're doing it online. So that's the key message that I want to leave from that point of view. Max, how can students get involved?
So yeah, so as Chris said, if you go to our website, which is pathwayctm.com, when you get onto the first page, you'll see a box that says sign up student. Just click on that as a student, sign yourself up, just fill in the details, and it gives you access to those 3 modules that we were talking about, and you can watch the videos, you can answer the quizzes, you can see the materials and resources. You can also go to our events page as well. When you click on the events page, it shows you what's coming up, like the Virtual Skills Day on the 27th of October. We've got other events coming up with the Dyson Institute, the Dyson Institute of Technology and Engineering, is that correct? So yeah, go onto the website, sign up as a student. Then you get lots of information that's tailored to what you're interested in as well. And you can keep coming back to that portal, using it, using the templates, just seeing what's going on. Even as a school, if you're a teacher, you can sign up as a teacher, just click sign up school, and it gives you access to the same stuff as well. Let's take some questions. Guys, if you've got questions, put them in the chat box. Because in a second, we'll move on to the next section. But I know that Victor had a question, and Tracy would like to answer this for Victor. So the question actually is, will there be anything in place to tackle the fact that some people will be missing lesson time due to self-isolation and some won't? Chris has already talked about a lot of things that are going on, and from Pathways perspective, we're still carrying on as normal and adapting so that we can bring you all of the services that we have, and with employers too. Tracy?
I think, Victoria, it'll be down to the school, and the school will put things in place. So I think all you can do is do your best, and you attend lessons, and hopefully that'll mean you'll get good results. But speak to you, if you've got real concerns about that, speak to your teachers in school. I think that answers the question.
It does. And also remember, Victor, doing things like you're doing today is massive. It's going to benefit you massively as well going forward. So keep doing these things. Don't lose momentum. Keep pushing forward.
And hopefully, and Liam, hopefully that's answered your question around the pandemic and what will happen this year. Hopefully that's answered your question in terms of employers and how they are doing things online now. So for any student who was a bit worried about that, hopefully we've answered your questions there. And just to relay, I suppose, Max, just to be really clear, so I can sign up from if I watch this live or if I watch the recording, and then what should I do next? What would your top tip be when I sign up?
Just go straight onto the portal and start interacting with the tools on there. Everything's there, and it relates to a question we've actually just come in. How will this program help Year 11s figure out what they want to do in the future regarding future careers? Well, on that portal and online, we break it down for you. What are your strengths? Let's look at them. What areas do those strengths play to? But then we look at what options are available. What is an apprenticeship? How do you get into one, and what does it bring you? What is university? Same scenario. What does it bring you? Is it worth doing a university degree in that area? For example, like you've seen, some people will do an apprenticeship with somebody like Ernst & Young. Some people will go to university and then join a company like Ernst & Young. We break it down for you, but then also you can email us and we'll help you answer those questions when you come across blocks like, I don't understand what that actually means. What does an apprenticeship actually look like? Ask us and we can show you. But everything is broken down in simple steps. So yes, it will. Videos are there with live examples of people that have been through the different pathways. Do we have any more questions? Keep putting the questions in, either in the Q&A box, which is preferred, or even on chat, whichever way you want.
I think just with timing, Max, I think we should move on to the next slide and look on to the next session.
Perfect. So we've got Kuth who are up next, and that's Jazz. If you'd like to come in, Jazz. So welcome to Kuth.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank CTM, Chris and his team, inviting me across today. My name is Jazz, and I'm here today to let you know about a digital online wellbeing platform called Kuth. That's available for all young people nationally and in Birmingham and Solihull from the age of 11 to 25 years of age. So with Kuth, it's a platform where you can come to where you need someone to talk to, and it could be absolutely about anything. And there will always be a time when we're feeling a little bit stuck or a little bit worried, where we feel we need to reach out and speak to someone. And sometimes we cannot always reach out to our friends, our families, or the teachers at school. But with Kuth, I just want to let you know that there is a platform that you can come to that's completely safe, where you can get some sound advice, not only from our qualified team, but also lots of peer-to-peer support as well, which is available from young people who might be experiencing the same sort of things that you might be experiencing. So with Kuth, we are a completely anonymous service, so we do not ask for any personal details when you sign up to the service. So you can access that support knowing that the information will not be going anywhere. The only time we would ever ask for your personal details is if we thought there was a safeguarding concern or a risk. But even then, you will be in complete control whether you want to forward that information on to us or not. But we will always advise you every step of the way why we would need that information and who we would want to share it with. I'm just going to show you a short video now about the service and what kind of support it has to offer and how you can access that.
Welcome to Kuth, a free, safe and anonymous place for young people to find online support and counselling. There's a bunch of features and tools to support you if you're looking for advice or simply aren't feeling your best. Kuth Magazine, a place full of opinions, creative pieces and personal experiences written by young people. Express yourself and help others along the way. Try writing a short story, an informative article, or write about your own interests and experiences. You'd be surprised how good it can feel to contribute, and you'll be helping others too. COOF discussion boards. Here you can start or join a conversation on all sorts of things, from anxiety and relationship advice to tips for relaxing after a stressful day. COOF goals. This useful tool can help you set smart personal goals and track the progress you make towards achieving them. COOF journal. Like a personal diary, your COOF journal will help you track how your mood changes as a result of things that happen throughout the week. This can help you identify behaviors or events that tend to make you feel good, as well as those that make you feel less positive. And COOF chat and messenger, for when you want to talk to COOF's friendly online team about anything that might be bothering you. At COOF, there's always somebody who will listen and understand.
So with the COOF service, young people log on for lots of different reasons to access support. So these are just some of the reasons that young people reach out to us, but there's absolutely no criteria for the service. So no matter how small or big the issue is, you can log on and get that support straight away. And I know lots of you are worried about future options and you're not sure what's the next step or what's the next stage, especially in the current situation. But there's lots and lots of young people who are feeling exactly the same way and are talking about it on our moderated message forums and in our magazines. And also, you can also reach out to one of our team members and have a chat if you're really feeling stuck or worried about these kind of things. Our team are online to chat 12 till 10 p.m. Monday to Friday and 6 till 10 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And this service is available all year round, including Christmas Day as well. But our website itself with the peer-to-peer support is open 24 hours a day, so you can access that anytime. And if you do want to chat to one of our team members, you need to chat between 12 to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday and 6 till 10 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So to access COOF, it's really easy. You can just do it through your web browser. You can do it from your mobile phones, your laptops, your standalone computers. If you just type in www.coof.com, it'll take you to a landing page. And if you click Join COOF, it'll take you to a very basic sign-up page. So you can see the place where you live. So the first box would be Birmingham or Solihull or whichever area you're living in. And the second box would be a sub-location in that area. If your sub-location is not listed in there, you can choose the nearest area to where you live, your gender, ethnicity, and the year and the month that you were born. It'll then ask you to choose a username, and it's very important you do not use your real names or any names you use on social media sites or gaming platforms. And this is if you do want to post any messages of support, or you want to upload an article or share your thoughts and feelings, no one will be able to identify who you are. You remain completely anonymous. We'd also ask you to choose a password that you remember because it is an anonymous website. We would not be able to reset your password. You'd have to create a whole new account if you forget your password. So as I said, our website has lots of different ways you can access support. But if you feel you do want to chat to one of our team members, I'm just going to show you a short video how you're able to do that.
There are two ways you can talk privately to someone from the COOF team: messaging and chat. Chat is a one-to-one instant messaging conversation with a COOF team member. Anyone can request a chat whenever they'd like one-to-one support from the COOF team. Chat sessions are available up to once a week for up to an hour. Chat is available every day of the year. Try to request a chat from somewhere you feel comfortable with good internet connection. When you have time to talk, simply click the Request a Chat button when the COOF team are online and you'll enter the queue. Chat can get busy some evenings, but you can browse the magazine and discussion boards while you wait. When someone from the team becomes available, you'll see a notification pop up, then have 5 minutes to accept, get ready, and start your chat. 95% of COOF users find it really helpful chatting to someone from the COOF team, so try it yourself.
So with COOF, as well as chatting, we are a real community where young people reach out to connect with other young people, share their thoughts and ideas. It's not always about things that are worrying them or situations that they're struggling with. Young people also reach out and talk about other fun things, like who likes Harry Potter, fashion, the environment. So lots of interests that other young people speak about. And there's lots of conversations about careers and future options as well that young people like to discuss. Our online magazine, over 60% of the articles are written by young people like yourself. So they write stories, they write poems, they write top tips about their experiences. So again, if you think you've got something useful or an article that you think you want to share with other young people, upload it so that we can put it onto our magazine and other young people can draw on that for support. We also have our moderated message forums. So lots of different categories, young people talking about lots of different things, where you can also comment on other people's messages as well. I just want to remind you, it's not a social media site, so you cannot request friends as such. The only people who would have access to yourselves are the Kooth team, so you're completely safe. There's no chance of any trolling, any bullying or any negative remarks. And also we want to make sure it's a safe platform as well, where you can share your thoughts and ideas and worries and know that people actually do care out there and can relate to a lot of the things that are going on. We also do live forums and the themes change all the time. So one time we might speak about victims of crime. The following time we might speak about exam stress. And then we might speak about things like the LGBTQ community. And the themes change all the time. So if it's a subject of interest to you, log in and join in on our live forum, or simply have a look at what other young people have to say. We say it's live, but it'll still take a few moments for your message to show. And that is because, again, we are moderating and checking every message before we allow it to go onto our website. So again, if you think you've got a useful article or some messages that you want to share, upload them, or you can start your own discussion if you think that conversation hasn't already been started. Again, just to remind you, it's completely safe, and we would moderate your message before we upload it onto our website. We've also added Kooth activities for young people to participate if they choose to. So there's lots of different activities here, from making your own coping box, to creating your own superhero. So depending on what you find suitable for yourself, you can go on there, click on the activity and have a look at how to, very basic steps in how you can complete that activity. And also you can view on the comments that young people have already tried that activity and if it actually helped them, or if they thought it was actually a waste of time. So again, you can have a look at that. And as I said, everyone needs support sometimes. And we can't always reach out to the people who are nearest and dearest to us. But I want you to know that it's a very normal feeling, especially this time and this year, which has been very unusual. And it's affected not just children, young people, but it's affected adults as well. And it's important to reach out and address these issues rather than letting it becoming too overwhelming where you're struggling to cope. And it's also important to remember there's lots of young people that are feeling exactly the same way as you are, that are in the same boat and who really do feel lost this year because they don't know what their options are, or they've changed their mind, or they're not feeling as confident as they were before. And also having to, schools closing down for isolation, lots of young people are worried about how that's going to affect their learning as well. I'm just going to move over now and show you a quick live demo about how the website looks. Try that again. Okay, so once you sign up for the service, you'll come to the Kooth website. So this is what you'll come to. And here you can see there's a journal, and lots of young people like to keep a journal on how they're feeling and like to reflect and look back sometimes, and trying to sometimes identify triggers that might reflect on your low mood or your worries. And sometimes young people can pick up a pattern and then they can address these issues. And that's completely private. So the only person who would see your journal is yourself and the Kooth team. This is our mini activities hub that I spoke about. So you can see lots of different activities here, from managing your emotions, helpful habits, expressing yourself. So if I clicked on making your own coping box, you can see it's very basic steps. We want to keep the activities very simple. And then you can see here young people who have tried it and what they actually thought of this as well, and if they thought it was worth doing or not. And all these messages are checked, so they are completely safe when you're going to come online. We've also have our online magazine as well, which has lots of different articles. And we also have details here from our live forum. So if I click here, you can see the live forums that we've had for this month here. So we've had self-care for young carers, victims of crime, safer socializing, and using creativity to release stress. And then this Friday, we've got settling back into education, which I know a lot of young people will be logging on, because the new normal does not feel so normal for a lot of young people, not just for young people, but for adults as well. So join in, have a look. There may be other young people who are feeling the same way that you are. And then next Monday, we got the youth homelessness as well. So as I said, the instructions are here. You can log on and join in. And all our live forums are saved. So if you do miss a live forum that you wanted to see, is still on our website. So you can have a look what other young people had to say. So on our magazine here, you can see different articles that have been written by young people. And as I said, there's lots of creativity. Young people are writing stories, they're writing poems. We've got one here, for example, written by Smiling Poppy. So here, they're expressing their emotions, and they're writing a short poem there as well. And then young people are able to comment on that as well. And you're able to do that as well. You just put it in here and submit it as well. And you can see here young people saying, thank you so much, this really helped. So you don't know, you might access an article or a forum that you think, actually, that's the advice and support I was looking for, and that might help you there. So we've got thousands of articles that you can have a look through and find the support that you're looking for. But we also have different categories as well here for our moderated message forums. And if you can go into education, you can see articles under college, school, universities. So we've got someone here who's written an article about back to school during COVID confessions. So young people confessing actually how they are feeling and the worries that come with it as well. And then you have other young people who've commented on the bottom here. Our message forums, we have lots of different categories, as I said as well, but for your health and well-being, again, just click on the one that you want some advice and support, or just want to share your ideas, what other young people might be thinking and feeling as well. So if we click under well-being here, you've got lots of different articles here that young people are posting as well. And lots of people are worried about the future. They feel like they're not having the same opportunities that other young people would have. They're not being marked fairly. They're going to be judged with their predicted exam grades. And lots of young people are feeling worried because news is changing every day. Adults are confused. I'm sure young people are confused in what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So just want you to know it's a very normal feeling, and we're learning every day something new as well. And there are people that you can reach out to, your friends and family, your carers, your staff at school. But as I said, sometimes you can struggle to reach out to people that you know. And if you want to come to a safe, anonymous platform, Kooth is here to give you that support there as well. So you can also set your goals here as well. You can add a new goal. You can record your journal. There are other helpful resources as well. So if you want to look at other services that are available besides Kooth, the details are all here as well. And their website links are on there as well that you can click onto there. We also have details of our team as well. Lots of young people, when they want to have a chat, they're happy to go with whichever team member first becomes available. But some young people want to choose a particular team member because of their experience. It could be because of there might be an ex-school nurse. It could be because of their gender. They prefer to speak to a male or a female, or someone who's familiar with the LGBTQ community, someone who might be from a particular culture that you think they'll understand my background. So you're free to choose whichever team member you want, or choose, like I said, most people are happy to choose whichever first team member becomes available. If you would like to chat to one of our team members, you're able to do so by clicking on the chat button here. You can message the team member and submit it, and someone will get back to you within 24 hours by messaging you back through the website, or you can click join the chat queue And when one of our team members become available, they will send you a reminder, and then you can start that conversation there. So that's the Kooth website. This service is available to all young people from age 11 to 25 in Birmingham and Solihull. You might access that service today, or you might think, well, actually, I don't need that service today. But there will come a time when you're feeling stuck and worried, especially young people who are going through lots of different changes, not just in the way that we're living at the moment, but through physical, emotional changes as well. There might come a time when you are feeling a little bit stuck or worried, or you just want some sound advice or some signposting. Just want you to know that you can log on, chat to one of our team members, or access one of our peer-to-peer support articles and message forums and get that support straight away. It's really important that you do address well-being, your well-being, to make sure that you are feeling great in yourself, so you are able to make the right choices when that time comes. Thank you for listening to me today. Do we have any questions?
Thank you for that, Jazz. Yeah, if we've got questions, put them in the Q&A box. That was a really useful presentation, and I suppose it's great to know that there's resources out there available to us and to students as well. Like you said, it's a very uncertain time for all of us, and we're all feeling feelings that we've not experienced before. And the uncertainty can be difficult, but it's great to know that there is help out there. So that's fantastic. Remember, put any questions that we've got in the Q&A box.
Yeah, Kooth does not actually stand for anything. I know someone's put a question up here. It's just a name. It's just the opposite of uncouth, which is not a very positive word. So it's just the opposite of that. But it's not an acronym for anything. It's just what was named in 2001 when the company went live.
Perfect. That's good to know. Have you had a lot of users using your service at the moment?
Yes, particularly during lockdown, we've had lots of young people signing up, especially reaching out because they are feeling isolated. And as I said, young people who normally would see their friends socially, just do simple things, having a game of football or netball or just going to the cinema, simple things like that, young people are not being able to do. And lots of young people are also frustrated because some do share bedrooms with their siblings, so they're not being able to speak to their friends online. But with Kooth, because there is no video audio link, we cannot see or speak to you. The service is purely just by typing and texting. It's easy for young people to be able to reach out, even if people are sitting around them, to be able to share their thoughts and feelings as well.
Yeah, and as Mike has put as well, giving young people the chance to get support peer-to-peer is really important too, because sometimes maybe you might feel as a young person that adults don't understand what you're going through, and that can be true because we are all different. Same for adults. We sometimes don't understand what our young people are going through. Like I said, because many times none of us have gone through this.
Yes, definitely.
Cool.
And as I said, it's completely normal. It's not just young people who are feeling like this. It's impacted every age group that you can imagine. But I know particularly at your age group where you're now taking options and deciding what you want to do for your future careers or future education, it can be quite frustrating because you just don't know what this academic year is going to bring. And, you know, where you was probably sure at the beginning of the year what you wanted to do, with the current situation with COVID-19, lots of young people are changing their mind. Young people are considering taking a gap year out while everything settles down. But, you know, there's lots of people you can go CTM, you can speak to them about any worries that you might have. You can come to Kooth as well, that can give you some advice and support as well. It is available across the whole of West Midlands. So we've got Birmingham, Solihull, Sandwell, Dudley, we've got Shropshire, and we've got Herefordshire, Worcestershire as well. In Birmingham and Solihull, the age group is 11 to 25, but not all the areas are the same age group. So for example, in Sandwell, it's 11 to 18 or up to 25 if you're a care leaver or a young person with special educational needs. And in Dudley, it's 11 to 18 years of age as well. So in Birmingham, we're quite fortunate, and Solihull, where it's 11 to 25, so you can continue getting this support, even if you go on to get your careers, or you go on to further education, you go on to university, you go on to buy your own first place. You know that you can turn to Kooth and get that support if you feel there's nowhere else that you can go. And also lots of face-to-face services have not been able to deliver their services as well. Whereas with COUth, we've continued exactly as we have been going since 2001. We're still being able to offer that support to young people consistently on a safe platform.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. So if we've got no other questions, then even if after we move on, you have got questions related to this, please ask them, because we can help you, or we can send you information afterwards too. Thank you very much, Jazz, for that. And thank you, COUth, obviously, for presenting and providing your resource as well at this time to young people. So if next we're going to move on to the Birmingham Careers Service, and I'm going to introduce you to Tracy.
Hello there. Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to be here this afternoon. What a great event. Could I have my first slide, please?
It should be, yeah. There we are.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, as you've already been told, I'm Tracy Homer. I'm a personal advisor for Birmingham Career Service, and I'll be presenting alone this afternoon. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. I am, and Baljeet Wood is, a personal advisor or a careers advisor for Birmingham Careers Service. We are a part of Birmingham City Council. This afternoon, for my short presentation, we'll be looking at what your next steps could be. We are qualified careers advisors, qualified to level 6. And we are impartial advice and guidance providers. Next slide, please. Just remember, I'm happy to answer any questions, and no question is irrelevant. Somebody else is thinking about it, so please don't be worried about asking any questions. Next slide, please. I thought it would be useful to look at what's happened this year. It has been a really strange time. Examinations during 2020 didn't take place due to COVID-19. What happened was schools were expected to provide a grade they anticipated the student would have got if they took their examination. Then the exam bodies awarded grades. I'm sure you've heard in the press what a kerfuffle that was, but the grade awarded to the student had the same status as any other year, and all institutions were accepting those grades. There was an appeal process if you're unhappy with the result awarded, and there was an opportunity to sit the actual exam. All we can say is currently it's anticipated 2020 will go back to how it's always been, and examinations will take place in the usual format, but who knows? But that is what is expected to happen at the moment. I thought it'd be useful to look at the choices you have. Obviously, you may or may not know these, and the secret to good careers advice is to be aware of your options so that you can make well-informed decisions. So you will have the opportunity for further education, and there are a couple of paths you can take for education. One would be A-levels, one would be GCSEs, and the other path would be vocational study. Vocational studies when you really know what job you want to do, and you study that as a career. And an example might be IT, it could be hairdressing, it could be bricklaying, but it's where you really have a strong idea that's the job you want to do. There are various training routes, and training can vary from not having any qualifications at school, not having your level 2 English and maths, right through to apprenticeship level, which tends to be with an employer and tends to be that you've got your grade 4 plus GCSEs, particularly in English and maths. Yes, you have employment, but there's all sorts of rules about under 18s having to be in educational training. Any employment should offer good training opportunities. So employment, and until you're over 18, you should still be working towards your level 2 English and maths. So employment is available, tends to be available as a part of something else. such as going to college. Obviously, one of the opportunities that's not on this slide is higher education, going on to university, and schools and colleges have a good higher education program to help you with the application program, to help you research what your choices are, to help you do your personal statements, and they're really good at doing that. Following higher education, which is normally A-levels, other choices are having a gap year. I think Chris earlier said that he took a gap year, and where you decide to do something either out of interest, whether you want to volunteer to do something good, but gap years can take, you know, various routes, and alongside gap year is volunteering, doing some voluntary work. Thank you. Next slide.
Just quickly, I've got a question that has come in, Tracy, actually.
Okay.
And it's just that, will the grade boundaries be lowering because of Corona? I'm assuming that means the scoring of the grade boundary. So
yes. I don't anticipate that, particularly after the year that we've had. I think they'll want to have some kind of standardisation. They'll want everything to settle down. So I would have thought that was unlikely. All I can say is that each exam body will have to operate fairly, and they may have some sort of grading system and levelling system, but it needs to be fair. So I would think they'll be looking for a year of calm, peace, and just to settle things down. But there isn't an exact answer to that, sorry. Okay. Further education. So I'll break some of the choices that I mentioned just down. Obviously, further education. This can be done either at your school sixth form, if there is one, or another school sixth form, or a college. And colleges can be broken down into sixth form colleges and colleges of further education. I thought it was useful to highlight the differences between staying on at a school sixth form and a college. Within a school sixth form, the choices may be a bit more limited for both vocational and academics courses. They may not physically be able to offer you such a wide choice. One of the benefits of a school sixth form is the familiarity. You'll have friends there, you'll know the teachers, you'll know your way around, so it'll all be pretty familiar. Probably still have to wear a uniform, particularly in year 12. You will be obliged to stick to school times, normally 9 till 3-ish. There may be free periods, but it will be school times. School sixth forms tend to be a little bit more structured, a little bit more of being told what to do. And it could be said that school sixth forms may be more supportive. The comparison with colleges, a sixth form college tends to be aged between 16 and 19. They can and usually offer a wider subject choice. There tends to be more freedom. You wouldn't necessarily be expected to attend college if you hadn't actually got a lesson. But you will be responsible for your own motivation and discipline. You probably won't have the push, the support that you would get in a school sixth form. And neither route is right or wrong. I think it is down to personality and what you feel is the right route for you. Next slide, please. This is still talking about further education. It's broken down into sort of 3 different things you can do. Obviously, there's academic courses. These tend to be either A-levels, which is level 3, or GCSEs level 2. So if you, at the end of year 11, you haven't got your GCSEs, your academic courses might be a GCSE resit course. To study A-levels, you'll need good GCSE grades to show that you can cope with the level of study. I mean, I think probably they would say grade 4s I would be saying, particularly for certain subjects, they would be expecting at least a 5, possibly a 6. So you need to be sure that you have got the correct grade to do A-levels. If you were to do A-levels, normally you studied 3, maybe 4 subjects, and the course tends to last for about 2 years. Just going back to GCSEs and resitting, I think it's really important to ask yourself why you are resitting, and ask yourself what went wrong in year 11, what has changed, and remember that grades generally only improve by 1 grade, and quite often institutions will only let you resit if you've got a good grade 3, because there may not be a point if you haven't got at least a grade 3. Then there are foundation courses, and these are entry level 1, 2 and 3 courses, pre-GCSE, pre-level 1 and 2, they are entry level. They're more about developing your skills and experience, and can include lots of things. It may include independent living, it may include vocational and employability elements, but it is very much the precursor, pre-GCSEs, pre-level 1 and 2. May be more suitable for people who struggle with learning. And then in further education, you've got the vocational courses, as I've already said, work-related courses. Generally, it's a BTEC qualification that you'll be studying. Up levels 1 to 3 can last anywhere between 1 and 2 years. And there are a massive variety of areas available: IT, construction, hair, beauty, many vocational areas. Next, please. And then we've got a training route pathway. Training is generally where you get lots of work experience, maybe even employed within an organisation. And again, there are varying levels of training. The main one that you will hear people talk about is apprenticeships. Quite often, to get an apprenticeship, they require GCSEs grade 4 or higher, and would be looking at English and maths. If you were to gain an apprenticeship, generally they're employed. The employer pays your wage, you get paid, and you always work towards a recognised vocational qualification related to the thing that the job that you're doing. So whether it's IT or hairdressing or a related qualification. Generally, you spend some time at college or a training centre. It might be not the recognised college that you think of. It may be an organisation's training centre, but you will spend some time away from work working towards your qualification. A traineeship, again, another level of training, is where you get support to gain a recognised qualification, but also support to get your literacy and numeracy qualification at level 2 or higher. It will offer you work experience, so it's a good route, particularly if you don't know what you want to do, and there's quite often opportunities for vocational tasters. And again, you'll be working to a supportive qualification, something relevant to a job that you want to do in the future. Next slide, please. Okay, and then we've got the study programme. We call it a study programme. It could be called many things. Different providers have different names, and it may be around employability. But a study programme is if you don't have the level 2 qualifications in literacy and numeracy. Again, you'll get tasters in different jobs, particularly if you don't know what you want to do. There's a big emphasis on employability schools, so interview practice, CVs, again, work placements, and generally take, apart from the work experience, if there was any, it usually usually happens in a training centre. Next slide, please. This is what was spoken about previously, and I'm not going into any great deal except that it's been a weird year, it's been a strange year, and I think a lot of people are thinking about their next step is quite overwhelming, making applications. And just remember there is support around you for your well-being, your mental health. And I'm just going to go through quickly a list of agencies that can help. It's not a comprehensive list. It's just a list of some providers. So we've got Healthy Minds. I'm not going to read every word. We've got Papyrus. We've got Hopeline. We've got Relate Birmingham. I'm sure you will be able to access these slides if any of these organisations if you think they may be able to help you. Next slide, please.
Obviously got the recordings as well. And actually to that point, you made a really valid point there, Tracy, about what's going on at the moment. And Victor's got a question. And obviously these are thoughts that are entering students' heads. And he's asked, how much will people in the next 3 academic years be affected as people this year got higher grades than last year? So are universities and or apprenticeships going to consider that people could get less than the people now going forward? And will they consequently reduce their grades needed to meet the needs of the next academic year groups?
Yeah, what a great comprehensive question. And the truth is, nobody knows. Nobody knows at all, except that you will get the same amount of support that you've got, that any year will get. So you'll get the same study, you'll get the same support from tutors. Universities will have the same, hopefully the same amount of places that they'll want to fill. So they will, I am sure, have to recognise that it's been a difficult time. We didn't still feel like we'd have these restrictions and lockdown like we're having now 6 months ago, and it's looking like it could be another 6 months. So it's really difficult to tell. I just advise you to try your hardest, work with your teachers to make sure you get the best grades you can. And yeah, I would really, really hope universities will be sympathetic to what's been going on and what might go on for quite a while. We just don't know. But yeah, just work as hard as you can.
That's a really, really important point. It is about let's see what happens, because nobody knows. But universities will also be in tune with this, and they don't want people to not go to their universities. They obviously want people to go in. And if those grade boundaries need to change, they will change them, because they'll understand that things have happened. So we would say, don't worry about that too much. And like Tracy has said, apply yourself, work hard, do the things that you're doing now, and use those agencies that Tracy is talking about to get the help that you need if you need it, and use Kooth as well to get the help that you need if you need it. Yeah. Thank you, Tracy, for answering that question.
Yeah. I mean, the worst case scenario is we have another year, another couple of years where there won't be examinations and then there'll be predicted grades. Your teachers know you the best, and the teachers won't want to let you down and not be fair and give you a fair chance. So just work hard with the anticipation that you're going to get the best grade you can. So yeah, a really good question. I wish we'd got crystal ball and could answer it, but it's really difficult at the moment. The other providers I've just listed are Barnardo's, there's a parents support group, Birmingham Education Psychology Service, but it's not exclusive. Birmingham Career Service, if you want to talk about it, we offer help and we can advise you different agencies, and we'll definitely be advising on Kooth in the future. So next slide, please. Okay, this is just a quick one. Obviously, if you are a young person that has had extra help whilst you've been at school, you have had some learning difficulties, you may have had an education, health and care plan. This is the statement that the authority issue to identify your needs. It tells providers what your learning difficulties are. If you have an education, health and care plan, you may hear it called EHCP. It's issued by the authority. Any institution you attend should get sight of this so they can meet your needs. And it goes up to your 25th birthday whilst you are still in educational training. Some people are worried about having an education, health and care plan and worried about the stigma that's attached to that. I wouldn't be worried. It's your entitlement. It's your right to let people know what you struggle with. We all struggle with something, and it should be a really helpful document. And it should be reviewed every year in the institution you're at. So it's just to say your plan is still valid up until the age of 25 whilst you're in education or training. Thank you. Back one, that's it, thank you. This is to point out there are lots of people and lots of things out there that can help you. So we've got, yeah, I suppose firstly and most importantly, your family, your friends, the people you have the most time with, hopefully the biggest connection with. So chat to people who know you. It's easy to speak to advisors and good to sometimes speak to people who don't know you. It's also good to speak to people who you know, who will trust, who you trust, and who will give you sound advice. Obviously, there's people in schools, the teachers really know you really, really well. And as a careers advisor, I don't know you as well as that they do. I don't know how they're going to work out your grades and what they think you're capable of. Speak to your schools, colleges, institution. Within your institution, find out who has responsibility for careers advice and guidance. It really varies. I know we've got some young people on from St Ed's today, so welcome. And I know that St Edmund Campion have brought in a careers advice and support from Birmingham Careers Service. Some schools supply it themselves. Some colleges have their own service. An important question is find out who is responsible for giving you the advice and guidance. So ask, find out what's out there, what support you can expect to get, what the processes are. And the big thing of this year, and including Birmingham Careers Service, is virtual visits, virtual tours. I think if you go online on websites, a lot of places will offer you a virtual tour, and that could be really, really helpful. So use those things as well. Birmingham Careers Service operates for 16 to 19-year-olds, mainly with young people that are not doing anything. That group is called NEETs, not engaged in education, employment or educational training, but we will always be there to help you. And I'll talk about how you can contact us next. But yeah, use the things that are out there for you. Find out who can help. Find out who has responsibility. Do the tours. Talk to people you know. Talk to and trust. Talk to people who may not know you but might give you an impartial ear. Next, please. Okay, this is for parents and carers. Some of the things that you can think about with young people and their careers aspirations. So one of the best things you can do is work experience to try and develop ideas about what you might want to do in the future. I actually think that a work experience that you walk away thinking, I don't want to do that, is a true work experience. So if you come back and you might have enjoyed it, you might get a good report, but think, no, I really don't want to do that job, it's a great work experience. I always ask myself, if a young person says, I really enjoyed it, I've got a fantastic report, could I have put you anywhere? Could you have done any work experience? So work experience, parents and carers can be a great support in finding appropriate work experience. Parents and carers be supportive, show an interest. That might be difficult with young people and teenagers, but be supportive, show an interest, perhaps be empathetic that, it is a difficult idea. Help them explore ideas. There's loads of stuff on the internet that you can use to research career ideas. So, help them explore those. Know what's out there, know what the requirements are. Courses can be really competitive. Make sure that you know what the entry requirements are. and also make sure things like when applications have to be in, because they can be really, really competitive. Be aware of the deadlines and make sure that you make applications and encourage applications in good time. Ask, and again, going back to a previous point, find out who's responsible for advice and guidance within your institution, and access careers guidance interview. Thank you. Next slide, please. Right. I think we've been asking questions as we go along, but are there any more questions?
Remember, guys, this is your time to get your questions across. Every question's valid.
Yeah, and we can come back to them. I know it's not always easy to. Next slide for now, please. But put your questions in as you need them or want them. Next slide, then. Okay, this is us, Birmingham Career Service, and we are specifically a service for young people. We provide free careers advice and guidance to 16 to 19 who are not in education, employment or training needs, and up to 25 for those who have learning difficulties. And the thing to say is we are experienced advisors. We're used to working with young people, and we're used to exploring career ideas, making young people aware of what the options are. That's what we're good at. That's what we're used to. Next slide, please. Okay, this is how you contact us. And as you can see on there, for the most up-to-date contact details, go to our website. Current times, our phone number is a mobile number and it changes. It's not always the same person answering the phone. I only found that out yesterday. So if you go on our website, do a search for Birmingham Career Service, that's where you get our most up-to-date contact details. Next page, please. Our website, the one huge benefit of this pandemic has been our website. If I say so myself, it's becoming amazing. We have really, really worked hard at becoming virtual, being online, and there's some great information on there. So college open day dates, we've got some great virtual tours of training providers, which is fab. We will advertise careers events. We advertise this event today. As I said, loads of information, loads of publications you can download, including how to write a CV, career planning, interview hints and techniques, information for parents, even things like how to get your national insurance number, how to get a birth certificate, how to open a bank account. So really, really is worth a look. There's loads of stuff on there. And I'm not self-promoting, but it's a great place to start. Next slide, please. Going back to how you can get in touch with us, you can do that by calling us. So if you go on the website, it'll give you the mobile number. You can text us using that number. You can WhatsApp using that number. We're happy to get back to you, to send messages, and we'll even do video calls via WhatsApp. You can email us at bcareers@birmingham.gov. That doesn't change. We're on social media. I think everybody's on social media. That's been a huge learning curve for some of us, but you can get us on Facebook, you can get us on Twitter, you can get us on Instagram, and obviously we've got a website, Birmingham Career Service, and we do live chats every day, 9 till 5. There's sort of an advisor, so you can go on our chat. So whatever is the best way that works for you, please get in touch. Next slide, please. And just a really, really short video. And this is probably the first thing that Birmingham Career Service did when we changed our way of working. So if you could play that, please.
It might feel a little difficult to make decisions and plan for your future right now.
but we wanted to let you know that Birmingham Career Service Advisors are still here to offer help, advice and support. We are just doing things a bit differently.
We can help with planning your long-term career goals and support with exploring the many options and career paths available to you, including sixth form, college, traineeships, apprenticeships, or personal development opportunities if you don't feel ready for one of the other options.
We can advise on new application processes for these local providers, as many of them are also having to do things differently at the moment. Make the most of the time you have to plan your future.
Birmingham Career Service can also help with ideas for online courses and activities which will improve your CV or personal statement.
It's easy to get in touch with us. Contact us by phone, text, email, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. Whatever works best for you, really.
We've got lots of useful information and links on our website, birminghamcareerservice.co.uk. It's a good place to start.
Make sure your next step is the right step. Get in touch. Birmingham Career Service is here to help.
Thank you. Don't let those pictures put you off. Yeah, I should just have played that, shouldn't I? It would have saved half an hour, but it'd be great to hear from you. If there's any more questions, fire them this way.
That was a great video, actually, a great presentation too. I think the overriding thing that we're seeing here is with all the uncertainty, and we've had questions come through during the presentation, which is around that uncertainty that we can't predict for the future. But the important thing to remember that with like the Birmingham Career Services available for you guys, they're there, they want you to succeed. We're still working hard, all us companies here, working hard to make sure that those opportunities still exist for students and young people. We want you to succeed. We need you to succeed because we need the diversity. We need people going into work, and we want them prepared. So we will do everything we can. The support is there. That's what you don't need to worry about. The support is there. You will find it. So yeah, don't worry too much about the uncertainty because we'll make it work. There's a good question here from Niharika, and she asked, what are employers looking for in a person's CV? And this doesn't have to be just me or Tracy that answers this. Anybody can answer this. But when we're thinking about a person's CV, what is an employer looking for? We're looking for who you are, what interests you, what ignites your fire. Always we say don't make CVs too long because a recruiter isn't going to take a lot of time to look at it and study it in detail. So make it stand out, but give us a real impression of who you are, but also what you're doing, what you've accomplished. And that could be from education to volunteering to sports at school, being parts of teams or in societies. It's not just about your education. It's not just about your grades. It's about you as a person too.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to add anything to that? They're more than welcome to.
Just remember your CV is a changing document. It will, most of the time you amend it depending on the job you're applying for. So it isn't going to stay the same. It will have to reflect different interests and hobbies to reflect the job. And yet try and get your personality across. Try and remember that an employer might have a pile of CVs. Yours need to stand out. So, but there's some great publications and help leaflets on the Career Service website on how to, I think it's called How to Write a Winning CV. And the careers advisors, personal advisors will help you with the CV. They'll probably ask you to give them the raw information, send them your CV, and we'll happily look at it and give you some advice.
I think one thing for me, if I can just jump in here, is I know this is not an ideal situation for anybody, but I think employers will be looking at actually during this lockdown process, what have you done? So what have you looked to go and get involved with? The things like this, jumping on a webinar, jumping on online training, shows that you've stepped out and tried to further your own skills and experience. And to be able to say that during the lockdown process, you still pushed yourself forward is really powerful for an employer to see that you've stepped out of your comfort zone a little bit. There are lots of opportunities online to actually get involved with activities, virtual work experience, courses, training, but it's about young people stepping out and taking advantage of some of those. and that's kind of experience you can show. So employers will appreciate that it's a very, very difficult time, but it's about knowing what was out there and what you got involved with yourself. So if you put yourself out there, try something a little bit different, it all goes on your CV and it shows that you've been proactive, and you're out there looking for the information and training.
Somebody's asked a question about Duke of Edinburgh. Anything that you do that shows your personality, that shows you're part of a team, that shows skills, shows initiative, all helps. So it is very difficult for a young person at 16 to have this amazing CV, and you've got to, so it is a really good way of showcasing yourself, showing them what a good person you are, what interests you have. So I would say Duke of Edinburgh is a great way of doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with Tracy there. And I can tell you that having recruited people onto apprenticeships at Pret, and we would recruit people as young as 16 to come and do a degree apprenticeship. Those things really do stand out. But what I would say is don't do it and have it on your CV just because you're doing it because you want it on your CV. Do it because that's a genuine interest of yours. And it doesn't have to be something like Duke of Edinburgh. I mean, that is great, because what does that show? That shows that outside of school and in your own time, you want to learn and better yourself and experience different things, because DoD is not easy. I did it a few times, but not much when I was younger, because I wasn't very good at that kind of stuff. But yeah, it really does show that you want to learn things, and that's about your attitude and your person. Because at Pret, when I was looking to employ people onto an apprenticeship, who do I want coming into the company? They may not know they're not going to know how to make a sandwich. They're not going to know how to serve coffee. And that applies for a 16-year-old to a 60-year-old who's never worked in the industry. But what do they do in the background that makes me understand that they're motivated to learn, or that they want to help people, which is what the hospitality industry is all about? Those things do make a difference. Remember, the CV is what showcases what you do, but then when you get in front of somebody, that's when you show them and you speak about it. And when you're passionate about these things, that energy comes through. So do the things that you love, because they're all beneficial. Team sports, Duke of Edinburgh, societies, even debating societies, as boring as it sounds, they're really valuable things to do. We do have another question as well, which is from Victor. And he says, how many apprenticeships are there in medicine? As for the research I did, the options are not that broad, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll give you my take on it, Victor, and we can ask Tracy and perhaps Mike as well if they have an opinion or answers. It is more difficult, I think, to find an apprenticeship in medicine, because that really is traditionally a university route. That is a route that is more about studying medicine at university. And it's difficult at the moment to find apprenticeships in that area. But it depends what about medicine it is you're interested in, because certainly in nursing, certainly in healthcare, social care, there are apprenticeships available. Would you say that's fair, Tracy, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. I think historically, yeah, if you want to be a doctor or pharmacist, anything of those lines, really your only route is through a degree, and they tend to be long degrees. But yeah, there are apprenticeships in healthcare and many of the aligned medicine and medical routes. So yeah, you're mainly looking at university if you want to be a doctor, pharmacist, dentist.
I think there's options there as well. There's people out there, again, support wise, who can help you with that step. We work with someone around Birmingham, Medic Mentors, who provides you that advice and help you, tell you about the routes, the pathways, what that's actually like. I think as everyone's touched on is the fact that it depends what you're going into. If it's an NHS career you're looking at, there are lots of different options because there's such a wide scope. By saying the NHS, you might be opening the door to 250 different roles. Yeah. So there'll be pathways there. So it depends exactly what you want to be looking into. But that's, again, you knowing exactly what you want to get into and then using the support mechanisms around you to best find out your route into it. So there will be options out there, will be pathways. Some will have more of a strict kind of rigid kind of approach to it, but ask those questions. And there are people out there who can offer you that support, and especially in a medical kind of area, something like Medic Mentors in the local area. We can probably provide the link to that one on the recording. Great people to go and talk to, ask those questions, they're the experts on them.
Yeah, and the NHS is one of the biggest employers in the UK because it covers so many roles. And don't think that just because you might enter an organisation like the NHS at one level or in one sector that you can't move across to other sectors with the appropriate training and qualifications. Those doors will open up to you as you go through these things. And I think the other thing I would say that when I work with a lot of students, one of the things I would like to get across is that this at the moment isn't a sprint race. This is a marathon for you guys, because you may make decisions now that you think is right for your future, but that may change in a couple of years' time, and don't be afraid to make that change. Just look at what options are around and available to you. I can speak from my own experience that I've done a lot of different jobs in the same company and in different companies, and that's about finding my feet and learning new things and finding new interests as I get older. I haven't done this since the day I left university. In fact, my other jobs were very different. Those options are there, and it's the same with medicine, medical, NHS. There's a lot out there.
I think that's a really important point. None of you will be in the same career that you start out in. Things will change desperately, and unfortunately for young people starting out, career paths are taking a lot longer. Yeah, you're likely to be working until you're 70. The important thing is for you to be finding things you enjoy and are good at, and you're going to be doing different things for a long time. So make the most of it and find something you like.
And can I just say that whole thing about lifelong learning and your career is a lifelong pathway. As a 57-year-old apprenticeship person, I can safely say that, you know, when you start off on your career, you will be doing certain things, but along the way, opportunities will come your way, training will come your way, and it's just about grasping and taking those opportunities. And as I say, you know, as an apprentice myself, at the grand old age, it is something that, you know, your career is just as long as and as diverse as the opportunities that you look out for.
Yeah, I mean, very, very well said. And I can reiterate, I'm not an apprentice myself, but I can reiterate that point that recruiting apprentices, I recruited one apprentice who was 63 years old and just wanted a change in life and learn something new and do something he enjoyed. And he loved every minute of it. And he's still doing his apprenticeship now. I suppose really, Elaine coming in there leads on nicely. I think we've answered all the questions that we've got. Keep asking them if you want to. Let's say thank you to Tracy for the presentation and for answering the questions in the video. Thank you very much. And we can hand over to Elaine. So welcome, Elaine, part of the National Career Service. Let me do my job as a slide mover. Here we are.
Okay, so thank you everybody for inviting the National Career Service into this presentation. The National Career Service is available and open to all age. It is an all age guidance service, but I'm particularly today going to talk to you about the National Career Service offer for young people that are 13 plus. And so the National Career Service is free, professional, personalised advice sessions to help young people have a think about the kind of job they want to do, the training, apprenticeship routes, and all of those wide things that everybody's been talking about today. You know, we are there to help look at those and really help you navigate your way through some of those complex decisions that you might need to be making at certain touch points in your life. It is available to anybody over the age of 13 or 13 plus living in England. We're there to help through a range of mediums. So mainly it is telephone, web chat. We've got a very useful website and we do lots of activity through social media. And as a young person, if you're 18 plus but you're not in education, a little bit like Tracy said about those people that find themselves not in education or training, we can offer more support to that cohort of people that might need some face-to-face support as well. Okay, so you can move the slides along, thank you. And that's the next one. So the next one really is looking at how can we help you. If you want to move it on one more, thank you. So how can we help you then? It's about helping you make decisions about your future. What's important to you now might not be important to you in the future. So it's making some decisions and helping you find out what's right for you. Whatever stage of education you are in, you might just want to have a chat to somebody about helping you understand your strengths, what qualifications that you might have or you might need, the skills that you might need for different careers and different opportunities. And again, you know, talking to somebody that is impartial, helping you sort of like navigate your way through those things is something that the careers advisors will be able to do. There are many options, and because there's so many things, you might be overwhelmed. So having a chat with somebody about, you know, what your options are, thinking about your next steps, and letting us provide you with some information, advice on how to make those best decisions for your future. Looking at planning those next steps, you know, if you did this at A level, would that lead to college? Would it lead to an apprenticeship? Would it lead to university? Helping you look at those steps and putting a bit of a plan together to help you think about that. Okay, so how can we help you then? Again, explore the different careers. There's many different careers out there. There's thousands of job titles and thousands of different sort of like routeways into different jobs, and you know, we can help you sort of navigate some of that, help you review your strengths, and develop some of your career goals, some of your career ideas, develop those into next step plans, help you make the best use of the high quality career related tools that are out there. So there's not only tools that are on the National Career Service website, but there are tools out there through lots of other websites that might give you that little bit more information to help you make those decisions. Access the learning, the training, apprenticeships, the employment opportunities that are out there, and also, you know, help with making those applications. So looking at how you would present your personal profile, you know, building a really good CV, all of those different things that have been spoken about. Again, you know, we are all there to help and support you with that. And look at implementing your plan of action, because it's like with anything, isn't it? You've got a dream, you've got some ideas, but actually if you don't put that in a bit of a plan, how do you know you're getting there? So have a bit of a plan, so you know that you're ticking off these little milestones for yourself, so you're moving more forward to your to what you want to do in your career. So just to really talk to you then about the National Career Service and the sort of the tools and resources that are available to help you. So on the website, there's a section that's called Discover Your Skills and Careers. And what that does is you answer a series of assessment questions about things you like to do or things that you're good at. And that will help match you to some kind of career roles, which will give you a starting point to then start doing some of that research and looking at, you know, what are the jobs that you might like to do in the future, or, you know, is it something you can try and get some work experience, some voluntary work in, just to test them out. There's also a more comprehensive assessment tool called a skills health check, and that really does look at skills, interests, motivations. It also gives you a little taste at looking at sort of like some of your mathematical skills to see if, you know, how they match the kind of career that you're looking for. And it will give you quite a comprehensive report if you do all of it around the careers that might suit your skills, your personality, your motivations. And then by giving you those kind of results, looking at job profiles, there are 800 career job profiles on the National Career Service website, and that gives you loads of information about how to get that job, what the salary looks like, you know, the typical working hours, what the environment in that industry looks like, and you can see whether that actually suits what you are looking for in a particular job. It also gives you those entry-level points and looks at the career pathways within there. It'll give you information about the training opportunities, and it'll also give you information about, you know, are apprenticeships available in that route. So one of the questions was, you know, can I, you know, if I want to be a doctor, can I get an apprenticeship? And the answer was like, well, probably not. But looking at through the job profiles, there might be other sort of medical kind of healthcare where, like, you know, nursing associates and those kind of things would give you that pathway into the NHS. So it's a very simple to remember website, nationalcareerservice.gov.uk, and the gov.uk is where there's a lot of information to help young people with their career ideas. Gov.uk have got a / let's help teenagers, where again there's lots of information through those links over and above what is on the National Career Service, looking at things like gap years and finance and UCAS and all of those other things that, you know, will be useful for you in the future when you're looking at things. Okay, so our sort of landing page, homepage looks a bit like this. Again, it's very direct gov.uk looking, so there's no fancy pictures, but it's a very useful, intuitive website to use. So you can see where it says assess your skills, search job profiles, look for courses. It does what it says on the tin. So if you're interested in doing the assessment skills, you would click on those, hover over assess your skills, and it will take you straight to that page. Explore careers is where the career profiles are, and find a course is where you can put in a course title that you're thinking, oh, I fancy doing that, and then you can look, you know, is it available in your local area? Does your local college offer it? So it gives you those search engines to look for those kind of things. So just going through some of the links then, one of the links is careers advice, and all the what sits underneath there are all the kind of things that you might need to get some careers advice on. So, you know, making your post-16 options, your post-18 options, a bit of advice on gap years. And there's a range of other things. Just on a screenshot you can't see them, but once you get onto that website you will be able to see all the sort of the links that will give you some careers advice. Once you've clicked on it and you've read what's on there, if you've still got questions, obviously we've also got the link there to say, well, give us a call, because we are there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. So you haven't got to think, oh, I must remember to write that question down and call the person between 9 and 5. You could just pick up the phone straight away, and you would get it through to a careers advisor to you know, have that quick chat. If you move on to the next slide, the find a course, again, very easy to navigate. You would just put in your course name, where the provider is, if you know the kind of provider, or further down there's the sort of towns and cities that you might want to do your study, and it will throw up all the courses in that sort of area. Again, you know, you might sort of navigate through that. You might think, oh, I just need a quick answer to a quick question. And again, you can pick up the phone, free phone number, and we can sort of like look at answering those questions straight away with some of that. So the next slide is it's all about also helping people look for getting work, and you know, you might not be thinking learning is the route way for me, I do want to get a job. The other thing is you know, getting those short-term jobs or those part-time jobs while you're doing a bit of study, because again, you know, as everybody said, you know, employers are looking for people that take opportunities, that will, you know, will try things out and will look for things, and having a little bit of work experience, you know, on your CV, whether that's volunteering or paid work, is really crucial, you know, especially if you have taken a very much an academic route. So again, there's lots of information on our website about, you know, how to find vacancies, how to network, producing good CVs, cover letters, you know, the interview advice. So all of those kind of things that, you know, there's lots and lots of different places that you can look for that as well. But, you know, it is here all on this, this one site. Okay, the next slide. As I said, there's the skills and strengths tools. Sometimes people think, well, I don't know what my strengths are. I don't know what my skills are. Sometimes doing a skills assessment will actually give you some of those words that say, oh, this is your strength, this is your skills, this is the wording that you can use to demonstrate and to say to other people, oh, you know, yes, I'm good at time management, or yes, I'm good at talking to people and I have got communication skills, because the skills tool will give you that information just based on how you answer. Sometimes you might feel they're quite random questions, but you know, there is a purpose around trying to understand your personality type, and your skill sets will all sort of like feed into those assessment results. And I know a lot of people do those in preparation for putting a CV together, because it does demonstrate and give you some of those words that you might want to put down on your CV in the future. And following on from that, because the skills assessments do match to jobs or do match to job families, the job profiles are on there. They're written in job family way, but then you might just have a particular sort of like career that you're thinking about. So, you know, so I put in engineering as an example for this, because if you did put in engineering and then it takes you to the next page, which if you just want to move on the slide, it shows you that there's 212 different engineering kinds of jobs. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to be an engineer, well, you know, you would have to sort of like look through that and, you know, is it civil engineering or is it making things, or, you know, because there's so many different things that an engineer kind of does. So again, it gives you the opportunity to look through these, have a look at, you know, what the job's about, have a think about that. Does that match what you want to do? Does that match with your thinking around your courses and what you're good at and your qualifications? And if it doesn't, then have a chat with somebody to say, well, you know, what else can I do? What else can I think about? Because I really do fancy being an engineer, and, you know, so what have I got to do? What have I got to improve on to help me make that dream a reality? And, you know, careers advisors are all about making sure that we're giving you the right information, but also being aspirational with you and motivational, so you don't give up at the first hurdle and you do have a go and you do try. Okay, so the next one then is just giving you a flavour around what the job profile does look at. So I chose a nursing association just to show you that actually it looks at your entry requirements, but also it gives you information about apprenticeships, and it also links to other kinds of related careers that you might not have thought about. So again, it just broadens out your ideas, it broadens out your options to have a think about what else is out there and that you could possibly do. And then, you know, it always takes you back to, you know, well, do the skills assessment to see if it matches what you're looking for. So it does give you that sort of decision-making process, and you can use it yourself, whether you're on your own, you know, and then you can talk to somebody once you've got those kind of things done. Okay, so get in touch along with everybody else. So, you know, we want to be able to support you. It's not just a one-touch approach either. You know, we can sort of like work with you at the times when you're ready to talk to us. We'll discuss your strengths, your skills, your ambitions, look at your options, help you think about those different next steps, give you information about the local labour market. You know, you might be thinking of doing a job now, but actually in 5 years' time, it might look very different. So we can look at giving you that kind of foresight information about, you know, how things might have changed, you know, what's the impact of artificial intelligence perhaps on the job that you want to do. And we could have that conversation with you and think about that. identifying opportunities that help match your goals and will support your goals and help you get there. As I said, we're there pretty much 7 days a week, 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. And there's various ways that you can get in touch with us. Obviously, use the National Career Service website. That will give you links to the phone number and to the text messaging. We're developing our service all across social media platforms. So we've got a LinkedIn account that looks at, we're always showing campaigns and helpful tips and job vacancies and opportunities to just give people an idea about what we're doing. That's also linked with like the Facebook, Twitter, and we've got a service where you can just sort of like hashtag ask a careers advisor. So, you know, so there's some kind of live web links through that where we can do a bit of careers advice with you. Web chat is available throughout the day, 7 days a week, and text message. So if you've only got 5 minutes but you want to text us a quick question, we've also got a text messaging service, and you know, we can always call you back and make an appointment to talk to you through that. So that's it really, sort of a very sort of like whistle-stop tour of the National Career Service. It's also open to adults, so again, you know, you can tell your mums and dads about it, your carers, because, you know, it is an all-age guidance service. So, you know, we can also see adults as well to give careers advice and guidance, again, over the phone or face-to-face. Okay, has anybody got any questions? Because I know I hardly come up for breath.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Elaine, for that. Yeah, has anybody got any questions? As all, again, very useful information. I think also the slide that you were showing about being able to search for different sectors on the government website, I think that relates quite nicely to the question we had earlier about apprenticeships in the medical industry. That service there that the government provides is so useful for people looking at apprenticeship, because it really does, everything is advertised there, and it's easy to search for what you're looking for, and if it exists, it'll be there.
Yeah, and I think the gov.uk website, you know, it's got pretty much everything that you would ever need to think about in terms of careers, work, learning, apprenticeships, you know, how to vote, how to get a driving license. So anything young people really need to have a think about, you know, it's a good first step, using that website.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much for that, Elaine. Much appreciated. I suppose, Mike, do you have any final words you want to say?
I was going to ask a question firstly of Elaine, just wondering kind of like how reactive the website is with kind of like new roles being created. Is it something that's regularly updated and kept up to date with new opportunities? So students wanted to see what's out there. And could do a real good search of new opportunities that they may not have even thought about. Do they crop up on the site as well?
Yes, the ESFA that obviously help run the site have got developers working on the site all the time. So there's always researchers and developers that are, you know, sometimes just developing sort of, like you say, the job profiles or other sort of activities that are going on the site all the time behind the scenes to make sure that it is bang up to date with useful information, labour market information.
I think that's, sorry, Max.
I was going to say, and from my old prep point of view as well, that website for us was really useful because we had to advertise all of the apprenticeship positions we had available in our stores across the whole UK on that website. So we knew that people were seeing that live real time as they're searching for it and able to apply to us. So it does have a very useful function.
Excellent. I don't know if there are any more questions at the moment for Elaine or any of our panelists at all.
No more questions so far. No more questions.
Well, I mean, from my point of view, I think there's a couple of things that have come up and common themes across this, and it'll be the same for anybody who's listening and watching this recording. We did the poll at the start to ask what people are aspiring to do, and it's to let people know that if you're ticking that box of saying I don't know, that's perfectly fine. There's no problems with that. And there's a lot of people, I think I myself could probably hold my hand up, and going through year 11, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I think it's using the support that's out there. So the people have been talking today and the presentations that have been shown today, go and have a look at the sites, reach out, have a look what's out there. But the thing that's always come up through the presentation is the fact that there's lots of online content for you, but there's always someone at the end of a phone, end of a message link, end of an email link, who can support you. So if you're looking through these sites and you're thinking, actually, it looks quite interesting, but I'm not sure you understand, or it might be the terminology, it might be the pathways, get in contact with someone. Well, there's plenty of people out there to help and support and to talk to. I'm willing to support as well. There's lots of support out there. That there are going to be young people who don't know what they want to do. They don't know if the choices they have made are the right choices. And sometimes it's talking to someone that's been on the panel today, or someone within the organisations, to get a little bit more support and talk to someone about it. It is a very different situation everyone is working in. And I think there's probably a lot of frustrations with students and anybody going through school at the moment with not knowing what's coming next and what they can do while they may be in the situation. Some schools will be watching this, may have been sent home, so year groups are being isolated. But organisations are taking that step to make sure that their services and resources are probably even more accessible now while you're on your computer. So the best thing you can do is have a look at like the courses that Max, Catherine and Chris, you've talked about. Have a look at the courses that are available. Jump on the websites, go and look at the Birmingham Career Service website, go and have a look at what's happening there, the National Career Service website, look at that. Go and see what's happening on Kooth. Obviously, you've got options there of talking to someone with careers advice. You've got options of peer-to-peer support, so talking to young people who could be in exactly the same position as you and are asking the same kind of questions. But I think the key thing is there are opportunities out there to gain skills, to gain experience. If you're not sure where to look, ask the question. Ask the question to anybody who's linked on, present on this recording. Your schools will also have information on the careers pages, so have a look on there as well. That's the kind of information that we try and support through the Careers and Enterprise Company out to schools to say, are you aware this is happening? There's courses, there's training, there's links. So have a look around. As I said, it's okay not to know and to not sure what's happening, because the situations are changing, the climate's changing on a daily basis, it seems. So have a look what's actually happening, but it's okay not to know at the moment. I think the other thing I think Tracy probably touched on, the work experience. Work experience has been a big question from a lot of students over lockdown through summer, because work experience didn't happen at the end of last academic year. There are now more people offering these opportunities that give you the virtual experience. So still the chance to talk to people, interact with people, do projects that are aligned to a certain industry, and will give you a feel, give you experience. And they're worth logging on to, worth having a look at those. So it's very much a case about if you've got an interest level, if you've got an interest in a certain industry, go and do some searches. There's a whole wide world out there, and there's a lot of these organisations that are now prepared for virtual and electronic meetings that will give you the opportunity to see inside a building, go and talk to someone from that organisation, see what a role actually entails. But I think it takes the students and everyone who's been on this webinar as a live kind of participant. You stepped out and tried to find the information. Have a look what's out there and see what options there are for you. And if you can't find it, come across the panelists here, come across these organisations and ask the question. So if you can't find something, pose the question. There was always someone to help you. But I think I can only say thank you to everyone for the information you provided. There's loads of opportunities there, loads of links. We'll make sure these links are obviously available. The other thing I'll mention is this is part of a regional My Choices campaign. There was a national campaign run over the summer, and there were a series of videos that are linked to Learn Live. So we'll try and make sure the links presented to you, you can access those. There's a host of videos that will focus on your area of support, so being prepared, decision making, finding support pathways. There's lots of information there. But the other thing to say is this is only the first of our webinars. We've got another 2 to come, and it will answer some of the questions that people have posed throughout this webinar, especially around apprenticeship routes, pathways. That's our exact focus for our next webinar, which will be on the 22nd of November. Again, we'll make sure you've got invites sent through your schools. But that there are going to be opportunities to ask those questions. So if you really want to know about apprenticeships and pathways and routes, that's another great one to log on to. Our third one will be happening in November, so 26th of November, and we're looking at actually being prepared. So we'll dig into a bit more depth that things have been discussed in this webinar. So things like, as Elaine said, about your applications, your CVs, your cover letters, that's the kind of thing we'll be looking in November. So if you've got to that stage where you think, actually, I've had a look at what support's out there, I've had a look at the different pathways now how do I actually go ahead and access it? That's what we'll be covering in November. But if you've missed anything throughout any of these recordings, or you'd like to get more information, these will all go on online for you to see, so you can watch these back. So Catherine, Max, I believe these are going to the Pathway CTM YouTube channel first.
Yeah, that's right. And I've also shared some useful links for you guys that are on the session live. But of course, any further resources and links will all be available on our YouTube channel when we post this recording.
And I think if you go onto the Pathway CTM YouTube channel, you also see a host of different videos that will be really, really useful for you. So go and have a look. There's lots of videos out there from links from all of our organisations, really. There's loads of information for you. So please use the links that will be supplied with this video.
Perfect.
So, Max, back to you.
Thank you very much for all of that. So I suppose we haven't had any additional questions come in. I suppose just thank you to everybody for taking part today and for giving your time to give this information across. And for those attending, like Micah said already, thank you for showing up. Thank you for asking questions, and thank you for being part of it. Because without you guys participating, we wouldn't have anything to do. So yeah, it's been useful. And like I said, thank you to everybody that's presented. Really appreciate it. It's been really, really useful information. It will go on the YouTube channel. So once it's up and running, share it far and wide so people can see it if they didn't attend today. So thank you very much, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.